I was listening to the Anna Faris's Unqualified podcast this
yeah.
week. So I listen to Bill Burr's Monday Morning podcast every week. Like I can't miss that show now. And I know you listen to, well, we can talk about which ones you like too. I listen to the Tell 'em Steve Day podcast occasionally, and I started listening to the Anna Faris's Unqualified podcast, and it's really good. And it was funny because as I was listening to it, I was like watching, like I went back and listened to some very beginning episodes, and then I listened to some that are like brand new, and the games and things that they decided to stick with, like you can see that the rhythm and everything's working better. Like the Nick Kroll episode was fantastic.
Yeah, it was. I love the questions that they ask the celebrities. They're really funny.
But that's the thing, is they get some really good celebrities on there. But I was listening to one the other day where she had her husband on, Chris Pratt, Jurassic World, Parks and Rec, Guardians of the Galaxy, and they were talking about their family and they were talking about their kid, and I had remembered that Chris Pratt has a pretty funny Instagram, so I went back on and looked at his Instagram. My wife follows him, and he does this like really funny segment called "What's My Snack?" and like he eats, you know, like when it's like his cheat snack, he like makes a big deal out of it, and like sometimes it's like one of them was like a carrot cake cupcake, and he's like you just see him like just dissolving in joy over eating this like fatty snack. But he posted this picture this week that I thought was really cool. And if you go on his Instagram, you'll notice that he's a pretty, for a celebrity, they're a pretty well-grounded family. Like they're very family-based. They're both from or live in the Seattle area. They're pretty, at least he is a pretty faith-based person. And so he shares a lot of personal stuff, like things that he's grateful for and things like that, which you don't see a lot on Instagram anymore. You see a lot of, well, social media as a whole.
Just superficial.
Yeah, it's usually people posting, look at this awesome jet I'm on that you'll never afford.
Right.
His is more like, this is something that we're doing for people, or this is an experience I had with my kid.
No, it's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool to see. So this week he posted a picture of him and his son fishing. He's posted a couple of them, and I think they have a 4-year-old. And I guess they're in Hawaii shooting Jurassic World 2, and they caught a barracuda. I'm like, that's fucking rad.
Yeah.
And so he put on there that he got the kid to try the barracuda raw. So it's basically like sashimi, like the freshest sashimi you can get. And then he basically put on here, you get out and fish. No better way to share God's bounty with your babies and make lifelong memories than fishing. Get out on the water. Hashtag fishing is life. First off, I'm grateful for just the 2 hashtags, that there wasn't like 95 hashtags underneath that.
Yeah.
So I already respect Chris Pratt a little bit more. And I think it was cool that he's able to say things like go out and, you know, enjoy God's bounty. Like for me, like you don't see a lot of people that are open about their spirituality or faith. So for me, it's just cool to see, like, you know, anybody who's just okay with being themselves. You know, they're not saying go out and buy a Bible. He's just saying, you know, I'm grateful for
they're not preaching. They're just
which was cool to see. So it's cool to see, like,
feel.
this is a memory for him that's deep rooted in his like heart. Like, this is my family. I'm making a memory. Now, what was a bummer was, as I'm reading this, people are like, oh, it's so awesome. It's a great memory. I remember the first time my dad took me fishing, things like that. And that's how I am. You know, I'm like, that's the kind of thing, that's the kind of memory I can't wait to make with my kids, is like the first time fishing or camping and things like that.
Yeah.
And then you see people that are like, oh, this one hurts my heart. And I'm like, what the hell? And then one of them was like, oh, I'm sure there's better activities out there for you to do, Chris, than murdering innocent animals. And I'm like, what the fuck? That got dark quick.
For fishing?
For fishing. And I'm like, okay, if you are that person, let's just say you are. Let's say you're a vegan, or, I mean, you really have to be a vegan at that point, right? If you're actually going on there, one of them called him a flat out murderer, which I'm like, so you posted on on a picture of him and his child that he's a fucking murderer for catching a fish and eating it. Which really is the most, like, is that not like a green way of living? Like, if you actually catch something yourself and you eat it yourself.
Yeah, and you use the whole thing, and
yeah, there's no gas
nothing
being
goes
used.
to waste.
Yeah.
It's the best. I mean, it's the best way to eat an animal.
Yeah.
To catch it yourself and to cook
now,
it yourself.
I understand that some people are vegans and they don't believe in eating animals, and that's fine. What I don't really understand is why you got to go out of your way to, like, go on an Instagram page and then make a comment calling him a murderer, or
aren't the majority of vegans, they don't eat it because of the way that the food industry operates? Isn't that the point?
I don't know. I have a feeling we need to start doing like
is there like a sub group of them who do it out of like, well, I don't know, out of just like, we shouldn't do it at all. We should never eat animals.
Yes. No, seriously. Yes. There are a group of people. There's a subsection of that group that are literally just, we don't want to do anything that it causes discomfort for animals. Yes.
What about like, not to get too much into it, but what if they're like dying and like they're gonna
Dude,
die?
I don't know. We'll have to like interview a vegan. Oh god, that'd be a fucking nightmare. That would be
Well, the right one.
Just have ribs, ribs in the studio.
This reminds me, you know, the Aziz Ansari, I think his last stand-up special.
Yeah,
he did that. He talked about it. He like asked the audience like, how many of you are vegetarian, how many of you vegan, blah blah blah, and how many of you believe in the reasons why vegans are vegan, and like understand that the food industry is fucked up and blah blah blah, but just can't not eat meat. Like,
yeah,
you just gotta eat it. When you see a steak, you gotta eat it.
Yeah,
and you're like, well, this cow was probably slaughtered.
It was dying anyway.
Yeah, but I gotta eat it.
The point for me isn't
that's my view. Like,
well, we could talk about that more after the fucking music, but my thought was just like, if that's your feelings, if your real feelings are that one fish, like that fish was suffocated and murdered and you're a terrible person, you decided it was more important to get your message out there than just enjoy the fact that there's a dad out there spending time with his son and teaching him something that's important to them.
Yeah,
and sharing
why
memory.
shit on their moment?
And that's like, I'm like, what the fuck? Who the fuck are you? Are you kidding me? Do you wear like?
Speaking of preaching,
right? Do you fucking?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just wondering, is this person one of those like non-fair trade sandals, no shoes made by people?
They're off the grid, but they still use Instagram.
Exactly. From your fucking cell phone. God damn it. I don't know. I'm gonna teach my kids to fucking fish, dude.
Yeah. You just play the music now.
Let's fucking play.
All right. Hey, welcome to episode 15
of the Unreasonably Angry podcast. My name is Eric.
And I'm Gary. How you doing, fuckers? 15. Wow, we're already at 15. Yeah. If this podcast was 15, it would be a high school sophomore bragging to his friends about getting a hand job as if it was losing his virginities.
Yes.
And virginity.
It's virginities. Plural.
Front multiple virginities.
Front and
back. One hand job, one blow job, and one
finger up the asshole.
Good old. Oh yeah, that went a different way.
Some kids are just more sexually enlightened than others.
I love how, like, if someone just started listening, this is how we filter them out. Just like right off the bat.
We could get into like
if
the
this
memories.
Is your first time listening to this podcast, this is exactly how it always is.
I could share the story of my first hand job. I mean, I don't know how many people would actually want to hear about that, but
did it make you angry?
No, I did see red, but it wasn't like, it was joyous red. It was like exploding fireworks.
Sure.
Like somebody else is doing this instead of me.
Yeah, it's definitely a different thing. It's definitely like the first time it's like, it's a different thing.
Somebody just
it's a different hand. Unless you've done The Stranger, if you're familiar.
Yeah, it's where you sit on your hand until it goes numb and then you use that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's true.
Thanks, JD.
Is that a Scrubs thing?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I call it The Stranger. All right, so Gary, what do you got for us this week?
So I was on the vinyl subreddit, not to be too much of a hipster. They were talking about the new. There's a is it a 10-year-old? No, it's a 20-year-old anniversary of OK Computer.
Yeah, the Radiohead album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got it pre-ordered. It should be here in forever because it's
shipping called from OK Not OK.
Shipping from the UK. Yeah, I think so. OK Not OK from the UK.
Nice.
that was stupid. No. So they were talking about like whether the pressing was good or whatever.
Yeah.
Some
180 gram.
Yeah. Audiophile. Yeah. Hipster vinyl stuff.
Stop saying the word hipster.
Okay. Sorry.
No, see, it was hipstery to like vinyl back in the day, but now people do it as a collection item. You're not nobody.
Yeah.
Would
now
say
that
to
more
you,
people do it, they can't say that it's like they're the first ones anymore.
Yeah. You wouldn't go out of your way to explain to someone that vinyl is just necessarily better because of X, Y, Z.
What's funny is I was talking to someone who's like older than 50 who didn't like. I was talking about how I have vinyl, and they're like, "Why?" And I'm like, vinyl's making a comeback? You didn't know this?
It's fun. I look at it like a collector's item. I mean,
yeah,
it's
I thought
kind
it
of
was funny that I guess not everyone would know about it.
No, and the thing is there's really the idea behind vinyl isn't that it's going to give you the best possible sound, blah blah blah. It's a collector's item. You know, people don't have CDs anymore.
It's not a better sound; it's a different sound.
Exactly. Yeah. I like the flawed sound in old records. Like I like the cracking and popping and things like that. Whereas that is an imperfection in the vinyl, but I like it.
It's funny. There's two groups of people who collect vinyls. The people who like get the older stuff and do like that, like you said, the authentic sound. But then the people get the newer stuff who want it clean as a baby's bottom and don't want any.
The people that say that just haven't been around babies much. I mean, the idea is to have a clean baby bottom, but mind. Jesus.
Well, the cheek, not the. Anyway. Anyway, so I saw a guy started getting into, a Reddit argument with someone.
Awesome. Internet arguments are always such a smart way to do things.
Yeah, but they were just talking about how it was sounding, and obviously it was the same record that they were probably the same pressing that these two people listening to, and one was like, sounded really quiet to me. I don't know why, like as in they had to turn the volume up more than usual, and I was like, okay, you probably not. Your amp isn't set up right or something. So that was my thought. But then someone comments like, well, once you get rid of that old Crowley and you like actually pick up a real thing and blah, blah, blah. And it was like paragraphs of like basically just like at one point they said like once you get a big boy set up.
Oh God. So it turned from like
in
vinyl
parentheses,
to...
if you do one day. And like it went from
a vinyl subreddit to roast me.
Yeah. It was like, what the hell, dude? And I commented, I don't know if I should. Whatever.
What do you think that you say?
Sometimes I comment things where I'm like, I don't know if I should do this, and I know some people say like they just usually delete it.
That's
and don't
literally
do it.
90% of the time on Reddit. I'm like, not worth it.
But recently, I've just done it just to see if I get downvoted or what happens. Because every once in a while, you get way upvoted because like you're being a dick and people think it's funny,
bro.
No, but I said there could not have been more condescension in that comment.
Yeah. Could there be any more condescension?
Was Chandler condescending?
Right.
He kind of was.
He was sarcastic as fuck. I mean, he was just a very sarcastic guy.
Yeah. So like, yeah, there.
But if we're gonna have a friends talk, we got to get my wife in here. So let's pump the brakes on that.
That's true. No, people like act like they're better than others.
Yeah,
like,
I feel like we've talked about
really
that
annoying.
A few times on here.
Yeah, in certain contexts.
Yeah, and well, I mean, the thing is that's such a broad topic too. I mean, it's one of those things that we deal with about everything.
Well, it's like. But I feel like it's a frame of mind that you have to get into, and then you like apply it to everything.
Well, the thing is, I've noticed
like my car is better than yours. I have a better house than yours. Blah,
well,
blah,
no,
blah.
but that's the thing. I
think
like
one-upping. Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Speaking of one-upping,
are you condescending my speaking?
Go ahead.
Well, the thing is, I've noticed. I feel like more often than not, people pick a few things to be snobby about, and then they go ape shit on those things. Right? Like it's not always. You don't always run into people that are snobby about everything in their life.
Yeah.
Because you find a thing that you really care about and your passion becomes like fanaticism. Like you go from being really passionate about that topic to being just
kind of a jerk,
a dickhole.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for you, for example, if somebody were to talk to you about microphones or sound or keyboards, there's a certain amount of conversation you can have where you're going to be really supportive. Where for some people, as soon as somebody says something wrong, as somebody says, I have the best mic in the world and it's this one. If you know that that's not true, some people feel that is their card, their cue to just be a dick. I'm like, actually, kind of like remember Oscar from The Office?
Yeah.
They call him actually.
Yeah.
And the thing is, everybody has that thing that they're really crazy about. And once somebody crosses that line, you have that button as a person, whether you're going to be a dick or you're going to be cool and try to... And there's a difference. You can tell somebody, hey, that's actually not true. It's this.
Right.
Or you can be like, actually, that's not true. You know what the fuck you're talking about. So maybe you should shut up.
I feel like that's like a switch you have to turn in your head. Because I feel like for most people, probably the natural reaction is, you don't know what you're talking about. Let me tell you like how you're wrong.
Yeah.
But...
Well, it depends on the type of person. Because if you're not a confrontational person...
then you're not going to say anything.
All you're going to do is you're going to pull out your phone and you're going to text your friend that's there with you. I mean, this guy's a fucking idiot.
You're going to be quietly passive aggressive.
You just you're in the room. There's like 5 people, and then you keep hearing bing, bing, and those people are texting back and forth.
And that person's still talking out of their ass, like looking around, like, what are you guys texting about?
Okay, no, so I got to tell a story then.
Okay, great. This should be a good story.
So my wife, your sister, worked at Disneyland.
Yeah,
for Disney, not at Disneyland. So she wasn't like at the ride pushing the button to make the ride stop and start. She worked at one of the restaurants, and then she worked into the higher ups with the company where she was part of the training program. So it was a big part of her life. The thing is if you don't live in Southern California, you probably aren't aware of the fucking snobbery that goes into Disneyland with a lot of people. The straight up like pompous fucking attitude people get about their annual pass and about how many days per week they go, and about it's like how they have 7 different sets of fucking ears with different things for different days,
which on the surface is stupid as fuck. It's a fucking theme park.
It's a theme park. No, but the thing is that's the difference. This is exactly that point though. To some people, their Disneyness is their life.
Sure.
So this person, we were there and we were talking about going on our honeymoon, and we were going to go to Aulani, and we were going to go to that's where we're going to go for our honeymoon, which was amazing, by the way. Mm-hmm. And they started to spout like Disney factoids, like, did you know? Mm-hmm. And that's fine. My wife's actually she's not that person. She's not the let me correct you person. But that person did it to her. Serena said something along the lines of, oh, we're going to do this because of this. And that person chimed in and was like, actually, I did. And I watched my wife's face go from her normally very sweet, welcoming veneer to what the fuck?
Yeah.
And she kind of looks at me like, what the hell? She's not the type to like, let me explain to you how stupid you are. You don't know I work for Disney, but in my head, I'm thinking, my wife works for Disney. Who the fuck are you? Right. So of course, what she does is she pulls aside. She shows me on her phone, like the fact that this person was wrong about. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, is it okay if I bring that up? And she goes, no, it's not worth it.
And to give context, when you start working at Disneyland, you get this big training, where you learn the history and you learn about it, and it's like a big thing.
My wife was that person.
Right.
Your first day with the company, she took you on the tour of the park. She explained why Walt did what he did.
Yeah.
Like, that was her job.
Yeah.
So to have this person...
the one person you shouldn't bullshit Disneyland about too. Yeah.
And to me, I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm just thinking to myself, my wife is a better person than me. Because if it was me... I would have roasted that chick so bad in front of everybody, because I'm just like, there's a difference between, hey, you know what? That's actually not true. Did you know about this? That's one thing. Mm-hmm. But for her to be like, actually, which I'm kind of realizing now when you say actually like that way, it's kind of like saying, fuck yourself. This is the truth. You know what I mean?
Well, some people do say fuck yourself.
Yeah. Me, on the other hand, I mean, the thing is, there's like 7 or 8 people there. So it was kind of like, and this person, we had never met this person before. We've seen her a few times since then, and she's just, that's it for us. Like, we're not. No. But I think back on it and I go, that just kind of shows my wife's level of
self-control.
She's just better at it than I am. And I've improved quite a bit, but there are definitely times where I'm like that. But as I've become a parent and I'm watching, like, okay, is it worth getting this upset about? Is that the kind of example I want to set for my kids? I'm learning how to pump the brakes on it and go, it's not really worth it. But the more we talk about things, the more I'm seeing on social media, the more things I'm seeing on the news, how like crazy people get like on comment sections about things if they think someone is even remotely wrong about something that they think they know more about.
Yeah. So what's funny is that, like, as you're telling the story, I'm like thinking back to when I was a kid, and like I'm sure people describe me as a know-it-all, probably. Because like I would say stuff like, what's funny is that I've obviously gotten better about it because I'm an adult now. But while I was a child, I would like say stuff kind of out of my ass. Like I would kind of like I would try to like if it was a topic I didn't know about, I would like take all the context clues of my like that I've learned so far and try to put them together and make sense. Like even if I'm not telling something that's true.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Well, it's kind of like when you're a kid and you go, have you seen this movie? And you're like, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
And you're like,
exactly.
I haven't fucking seen that movie yet.
Right. Because you want to fit in or you want to look cool. But Yeah, so I would try to like do that, and then I would like judge the person's reaction, and then
To
like
see if you got it right.
right, exactly. And if they like look at you weird or like really like where they like tilt their head and like squint their eyes like and then I'm like, okay, I don't know about that. I gotta listen to them on that now. So like as I've grown older, like I've taken that kind of behavior and turned it more into like when people are talking about something I don't know about, I kind of just shut up and listen to them, or like look it up later, or even just like Google it while they're talking. Like, oh, okay, that's what that means, so I can start talking about it now. But,
it totally depends.
Some people don't. When they grow up, they don't change.
No.
They still talk out of their ass.
Yeah.
Like the related subreddit would be "Quit Your Bullshit." Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
Oh my god, that is. I can't get enough of that. It's so great.
Well, it just makes me think of Carl Pilkington from
Who's that?
An Idiot Abroad. He's on the
yeah.
he was on the what the hell is that guy's name? Ricky Gervais show.
And Stephen Merchant.
Yeah, and he was talking about how if he had a superpower, he'd like to be bullshit man. Unlike how they would.
Oh yeah.
He's like, I'd like the ability to fly. And he goes, so your ability is to fly? And he goes, no, my ability is to know when somebody's talking bullshit. He's like, then I'd fly into the room and I just point at him and say, bullshit. You're talking shit. And I fucking love that. Because that would be so cool.
They were like, did they say like, so wait 1 second. You can fly, but your superpower is to tell people that they're saying
Not
bullshit.
to mention the fucking supersonic hearing to hear the conversation where somebody's talking bullshit.
But what you care about is telling them that they're
but that honestly, that would be the
bullshit.
best fucking. That's a great superpower, though.
Yeah,
like it really is, and I think
you'd be, making the world a better place.
And the thing is there's a line between. By the way, I feel like we should change our podcast name to "The Thing Is" because we say "The Thing Is" so fucking much. The Thing Is featuring Eric and Gary. Anyway, the truth about it for me now when I look at it is we're at a place now. We've talked about this way back. You can't criticize anybody. You can't correct people, right? It's uncouth. Save it for later. Uncouth.
That word.
I don't mind being corrected. I don't mind. I mean, there's a difference between saying, hey, that's wrong.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between saying, hey, everybody, look, this person's wrong. I'm going to tell them they're wrong. And you're wrong.
Right.
If somebody says, hey, blah, 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 and you're like, no, that's actually this. Like, I expect that. One of my friends, my buddy Mike, he tends to allow himself to get in conversations on Facebook or Instagram. He'll comment on like those public posts. Yeah. I don't do that because I know what's going to happen. I'm going to say something. I know as a person, I don't fit in with most people's opinions of most things. And Mike doesn't either.
Yeah.
But he'll say what he thinks. And then some people will say shit to him and he'll say shit back. And he's not like, it's not inflammatory. He doesn't go crazy or anything like that. But this last week, Eminem posted like a happy birthday or congratulations to 50 Cent or some shit.
Okay.
And posted like one of himself rapping 50 Cent's verse and going, this is one of the best verses that you've ever done. And so Mike just commented something along the lines of like, yeah, it's a sick verse, blah, blah, blah. And then some fucking asshole goes, oh, I bet you don't even know 50 Cent. I bet you don't even know a different... And Mike's like, what the fuck? Like, why out of everybody here did you pick my comments to be a fucking shitface to?
Yep.
So then Mike goes back and goes, actually, because Mike's a fucking intelligent person, goes, well, these are the other verses that I think were actually stronger by 50 Cent, but I was just going along with what Eminem was saying. So fuck yourself.
That immediately reminded me of the Johnny Cash cover of Hurt by Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah.
How Nine Inch Nails fans get so butthurt about how Johnny Cash took the song and supposly made it more popular than Trent Reznor did.
You can supposedly all you want. I think it's a better version.
It's like,
I think
were
it's a
you
better
even
version.
alive in the 90s? Yeah. I was like 7 years old when that... Well, no, I was like -1 years old when that song came out.
-1 years old?
Yeah. Well, so no, I was 1.
Oh, okay.
I think it came out in 94.
Either way, super important detail.
But no, I'm saying the person who says all that shit probably wasn't.
Yeah.
And they're like, they became a Nine Inch Nails head later, and they're like getting butthurt about Johnny
this is
Cash.
what we're talking about. But people do that. They take something that they love, the love for Nine Inch Nails, and when somebody says something that they don't agree with, they go, well, Nine Inch Nails is mine, and I'm going to get you.
Right. And they can't look past that to see, like, that they're, covers are just an homage to the original artist. It's not like they're you know,
it's literally Johnny Cash saying that song was so amazing, I want to give my take on it.
Yeah.
It just so happens that Johnny Cash's version had his passion and his own life influence on. Now, I could be viewed as, well, you're a Johnny Cash fan, so of course you're going to like better than the Nine Inch Nails version. It's very possible.
That's what's funny is that I'm a Nine Inch Nails fan and you're a Johnny Cash fan.
But would you say that the Nine Inch Nails version is better?
I think the Johnny Cash version
Yeah,
is
that's what I'm
better.
saying. It's not.
Well, so not to get too technical.
I mean, fucking Trent Reznor said his version was better.
Yeah, he said he liked
Reznor.
it.
Yes.
Not to get too technical, but I think that the Nine Inch Nails the Nine Inch Nails version, the original, fits better in the context of the album. But the Johnny Cash version works really well on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I feel.
I'm sorry I got distracted. I got an Instagram notification for my personal one that says, hey, Hattie wants SEX. Click the thumbs up. She requested to follow you.
Oh, I have gotten so much spam on Instagram recently.
So, I mean, it's one thing for your Instagram thing to pop up when it's like, this person wants sex. I'm like, what the fuck?
I don't know what's going on, but they're doing a terrible job, like,
Just
mitigating.
way too much porn.
I swear I get, like, a friend request from someone whose, like, profile pic is like boobs or ass. Like, probably multiple times a week.
I had a family
and what's great is I report every single one of them, and Instagram says, thank you for reporting it.
So I don't normally report them because I figure to myself that they're going to be reported by somebody. The last one I reported was because a family member of mine, their account was compromised. And there was like 10 pictures and they were all GIFs of people just getting boned down. And it was an older female family member. So I was like, holy shit, I don't think this person realizes what's happening. So I'm like reporting all their individual posts. But of course, when it shows you that this person has posted 7 new pictures, and then you go on there and you're expecting it to be this female relative, and you're looking at these things, you're like, oh my God, what the fuck? It's really fucking upsetting.
I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I don't know what's going on at Instagram headquarters, but they're not doing a good job of that.
If only we had someone who cared enough about Instagram to get passionate about it and shoot people out on the internet.
So, yeah, anyway, along the same lines of condescension, there's the people who, like, always feel like they need to one up, you know?
I think that may be like one of the top 3 things that irritates me more than anything else in the world.
Like when you, like, whatever you say, like when you see them after not seeing them for a long time, and like whatever you say, they always have something like, I mean, there's a difference between relating with someone and saying, oh yeah, I've done that too. Or like,
that's the
thing I enjoyed it as well. Or like, oh, but I did it at this place.
Do you think people realize that?
Like,
do you think
I don't think people do.
You think one-uppers don't realize they're a one-upper?
If people don't point it out, especially like if you're a good friend, like point it out. Like that's
like, hey Bill, you're a bit of an asshole. You keep one-upping me. Stop it.
How can I put this slightly? You're a bit of a dick sometimes.
Yeah. You know how you said you've had 1 foot in your ass? You're about to have 2 feet in your ass. Stop it.
But I've had 3 feet in my ass.
Right? But no, it's funny because I know exactly what you're talking about. It's usually like, man, I'm so fucking full. Why are you full? I'm like, man, I just had 2 hamburgers. Why are you so full? I had 3 hamburgers. Right. And you're like, God damn it. Like that doesn't.
I got a 3x3.
We're both full. Okay, that's great. Right. Honestly, I don't know what's worse though, is the one-upping in that way, or if it's worse when somebody takes something that you're doing and they try to, it's like a tack on, if that makes sense. Like they take your story and they make something that has nothing to do with it to like tell a story too. When you're like, yeah, like we totally went out yesterday and we had a great night and we went out and we saw a movie. We saw that movie that we wanted to see and we had some beers. It was a really, really good time. Oh, good. I was at home and had a book and I read it and it was good. And you're like, what the fuck?
The best part about those moments is when you're in a group and everyone else just looks at them like,
it just gets quiet.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you guys just got back from your honeymoon. Congratulations. Yeah, we went to Hawaii. It was gorgeous. The weather was really... I went to Hawaii once when I was 7. Yeah.
I didn't think it was that great.
I ate a pineapple. I'm like, oh, God.
I thought it was overrated.
Well, that's the best. When you're like talking about how much... The thing is, and this is coming from me, who I've done it. I'm trying to get better at it.
Oh, we both done all of the things we're talking about.
Oh, of course. Sure. When somebody's like, oh, man, I finally tried that restaurant I wanted to try. Yeah, dude, we went to Canlis. Oh, Canlis is so good. And they have that one guy who's like, yeah, I went there once and I got diarrhea. You're like, what the fuck am I supposed to say to that? Jesus. oh, you had really good Mexican food? Well, we have better Mexican food in Southern California.
You're right.
Like, oh,
those
God.
are the one-uppers who like, or like negative.
I almost said the word negative, but I almost use it as a person. You know, it's called negging. I almost said it as if you're someone who negs, you're a
what? I've never heard of this.
You never heard of negging?
Like a negative Nelly?
Yeah, like when it's a way to pick up chicks apparently. Like you like really? Put them down to like you negatively do that.
But you're kind of rolling the dice on if they're actually going to respond to that.
Yeah,
like they might just go, "Wow, what an asshole!" Like
that's you really are a prick when you do that.
Yeah,
but if now follow my train of thought. Okay. I almost said this word, which I don't know if it would have translated very well. But if you're someone who negs people, you're a neg.
Oh,
and I was like, "Whoa, I should probably not say that because that could be
okay. I don't know if this would be usable." I got you.
Because you're like, yeah, you know, there's people that tell the negative stories. I'm like, yeah, they're Nope. No. Oh,
that's prime podcasting right
there. They're negative Nanciers.
Oh
there we
my
go.
Gosh, negative Nellies. Johnny Rain Clouds.
Negative Nellies.
What? That's from something I don't know.
Well, no. What it made me think of was the South Park episode where he's on Wheel of Fortune. And it's the final clue, and it's like N blank.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, am I supposed to say this? And then he says it, and it's naggers. And you're like, oh my God. Like, it's just that.
Oh, that's great.
Anyway. But yeah, it's always that person who's like, you have some like thing you're really happy about, and you've had a lot of fun, and then they come along and they just like.
Elitist.
I guess it would be elitism. Yeah.
Like we live in the Seattle area, and we haven't told you that enough yet.
No.
Like, we need to say that every 5 minutes.
I see the Space Needle every day.
It was funny. Did you see the Reddit post where the Space Needle was going over some clouds? Like, it was the only thing visible over clouds. And people were, like, saying it looked like Cloud City from Star Wars. Which is, okay, whatever.
Sure.
But someone from Seattle posted, like, I live in Seattle, and the Space Needle is actually not any taller than a lot of the buildings downtown. So technically, it couldn't be the only thing visible out of over clouds. It's probably photoshopped.
That guy's fun at parties. That's who he is. Well, no, I especially love it when somebody says like something, and they. So if you're like. So it happens a lot with beer, right? Like we have friends that like beer a lot.
Craft beer, yeah.
And they'll be like, hey, if you really like that one, you got to try this. And that's like, oh, cool. Let me go get some of that.
Yeah.
What isn't cool, and you're like, man, I had this really good deep dish pizza. Oh, you think that's good? You should go to Giordano's in Chicago. I've been there. It's the best. And you're like, well, fuck me. Okay, well, I can't just like go saying, do that, so I'll just go fuck myself. Thank you so much for shitting on my mediocre deep dish pizza.
That's like saying, I had a really good red the other day. Oh, really? Did you have it in Italy? Fresh from the stomping or whatever.
Oh, you thought that was good prosciutto? I ate mine on a boat in Venice as it was paddling me down the fjords or whatever the fuck they're called there. That's how like ill-traveled I am.
Oh yeah, we are not people of the world. We're people of Seattle.
Yeah, people of your butt.
Yeah, no, I mean just people like. I don't know why. I think, you know what I think part of it is, at least for some people, is that like they feel like they have to always feel as if they're better than other people because otherwise they would feel like bad about themselves or something.
It's an insecurity thing.
Yeah, insecurity.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not okay with who you are, you feel the need to impress people at all times.
Right.
There are times where I wake up and I look at myself in the mirror and I go, man, you are not impressive. I go, you really need to do your hair and shave your shit.
We all have those moments.
But there are people that aren't okay with being unimpressive. Mm-hmm. Like I impress my wife and my daughter. As long as they're happy with me, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, and if I'm at work, I want to look professional, you know. Mm-hmm. But there are people that feel the need to, when they buy a car, is this going to impress people? When they buy a TV, is this going to impress people? When they buy a cell phone, is this going to impress people?
Right.
Whereas it's not, hey, do I like this? Am I going to enjoy this? Is this going to work for my needs? Mm-hmm. It's like, did you really need a fucking BMW M3? Did you need a fucking race car to take your kids to and from school? Did you really need that?
Along those lines, Carlos and Jeff and I, the special guests from last week, we were coming home from dinner in Seattle.
Yeah.
And we were passing by a few apartment buildings, which were... I mean, they looked okay, but they weren't like the nicest apartments on the block.
Sure.
But the garage opens and a fucking Maserati pulls out. And Jeff is like, what the fuck is that guy doing and living in that apartment with that car?
Yeah.
And then Carlos starts talking about like his friend who's paying like an absurd amount of money a month to get like a Mercedes Z class, or I don't even know.
I don't think there's, I don't know. S class or C class.
Right.
Maybe,
and he's a family man. He has kids and like they're living in a smaller place because he's, paying for this Mercedes.
Yeah. I don't know. So unfortunately, with my experience doing what I've done professionally for a while, I see it a lot where people invest more in. Mm-hmm. So like for me, it's funny because there are some people that all of their money goes into their house, right?
Yeah.
Some people will spend $1 million on a home that is 5 bedrooms. It's 23. Like people love that square foot thing. Like they love to say, "Oh, I have 2,400 square feet of space, and all of it is hardwood floors." I'm like, okay, good. Like for me,
and the countertops are the finest marble.
Yes. Yes. And that's the thing. It's funny is like I would much rather have something small with a little bit of land, like a little bit of space. Mm-hmm. People love to brag about those kind of things. For me, square footage is a number. Like there's a minimum number. Like you don't want to be a 3-bedroom at 800 square feet.
Right.
But there are people now, you're starting to see the tiny homes. The tiny homes are becoming a big thing because you're like, I don't need all that extra space. I'd rather have a small, nice thing with extra space around it than this big thing. But for a long time, those McMansions and things like that, that's what they were.
Yeah.
It was like, how can I show off to my family and friends how much money I have? But then you're rent broke or mortgage broke. And it's like, I'm spending $1 million in a house and I'm driving a mediocre car, or I have a nice car and a nice house, but I can't afford to do shit because all of it's going to this. Well, and I've never understood that.
Yeah. The flip side of that is I saw a YouTube video of a tour of Deadmau5's house.
Okay.
He lives up in Canada and he has a McMansion. Of course. And his Instagram is always like dragging out of a giant box some giant
toy
speaker system. Yeah, a toy. Like he has Atmos set up in his fucking So immediately the comments are like, "What a fucking asshole! He's like braggadocious motherfucker over here." Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it was like a third party, like some random YouTube channel coming in and doing the tour. Like I've never seen him post a video of a tour, like bragging about everything. He does the videos on Instagram, but that's just if you're a fan and you follow him, and he's like, he got this new thing. I might think about getting that. But like, people replied to that comment like, why do you need to shit on him? He's successful. He's good at what he does, and he has a right to get this stuff.
Yeah, well, that kind of goes full circle to what we were talking about at the very beginning today was Chris Pratt's. Like, you don't really see him brag a lot on his Instagram.
Yeah.
I think there's ways of doing it, and there's ways that are annoying. I think if you're sharing things that you've earned, that's perfectly fine. If you're doing it in a way that's just kind of like to be a fucking jerk about it, like that's different. But if you're just sharing, I mean, people loved that show Cribs. I watched the show Cribs.
Yeah.
More for like, man, I'd love to have a house like that one day.
Right. That's how everyone watches that show.
Yeah. If you're like doing it, you're like,
what if I won the lottery and got a house like that? Yeah.
Well, dude, man, that I don't know. Did you read that thing about the people who win the lottery and how many of them die?
The Reddit post.
Jesus.
Yeah. There was a Reddit post of a guy who like explained what happens to people who win the lottery.
Yeah, it's
basically
crazy.
Their life is ruined.
Just ruined.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, not me. Like, if I don't play the lottery, but if I did play the lottery, I would disappear. Like that. Disappear.
That's basically what the guy's advice was.
Like, honey, get the kids. Let's go.
Let's go. Fuck out of
Let's
Dodge.
go Red Dawn it. Let's just go get a cab and fucking like live up in the woods.
No, just like pay Elon Musk to get you into space, and then you're done. You're set.
Right.
Titty talk?
Titty talk.
Titty talk with Eric and Gary.
Gary is the president of the Itty Bitty Titty Committee.
Let's get down to breast tax here.
So let's do some TV talk. Let's do some chit chatting. I saw Batman versus Superman finally. I figured after
seeing Wonder Woman.
Well, after seeing Wonder Woman, but after the conversation last week with Carlos about him seeing it and being disappointed in it, we were gonna watch Captain America: Winter Soldier, which I know is a much better movie from what the reviews say, but it wasn't streaming free anywhere, and Batman vs. Superman was. So we're like, let's just watch it. We need to see that too.
I haven't. Did you see the director's cut?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that. Well, I don't know that it would make a difference because I haven't seen the irregular. So I was like, for me to watch the director's cut, I wouldn't know what new stuff had been added in.
I'm sure they have like on IMDb or something. They say which scenes.
Sure.
Whatever.
It was okay. It was good. I mean, it was better than I expected, but it wasn't great. Like it was, Ben Affleck did do a pretty good job as Batman though. Like I thought he did a good job. Yeah. The one major complaint that I have is still that it's just dark as fuck. Like it's like they put some sort of filter on the fucking camera and you can't see shit. It's all gargled and jumbled and mumbled. Do
you think they're just trying too hard to separate themselves from bright?
They have to be. Movies? We talked about this before. I mean, if you look at Suicide Squad, which I haven't sat through the whole thing yet, but when I'm watching it, it's like I'm straining my eyes to make sense of what the fuck's going on the screen. The weird thing about it was I really thought Batman and Superman would interact more earlier in the movie. It takes like a fucking hour and a half for them to finally fight. And I'm like, well, this isn't true. Batman versus Superman. This should be called Batman and Superman.
That's true.
By the way, I did like that Batman could have killed Superman. I've been saying for years, Superman's overpowered. He's got all this, but he had him. He
got in position.
He had him. He had the fucking spear. He was good to go. My wife's biggest complaint was the bad guy, the monster, the Doomsday monster.
It was a fucking shoe-in.
Piled of shit. A big CGI fucking mess. It looked like a character out of Rampage. You know the video game with the fucking... He's like jumping on a buildings like King Kong and shit. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Pointless.
Yeah, and that's the thing Serena said is she goes, you know what, I can stand comic book villains for the most part, like when they're like a villain and you understand their story. It's the monsters that are like stupid. Like when it's so CGI'd out that you're like, this is just a big green screen mess. It's not interesting. So now I'm kind of like, I liked Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I didn't really like Batman all that much, Batman vs. Superman, so do I give a flying fuck about Justice League? Do I think it's going to be good? Am I hopeful at all? Because right now it just seems like you take a jumbled mess and you add a bunch more characters to it. Am I really supposed to believe that Superman's dead? Am I really supposed to believe that? Get the fuck out of here.
Well, it's... from my understanding, it's a storyline. It's a plot line in the comic books.
Okay.
So it's just like, I think...
Who's Superman dying?
Yeah, and
Superman got killed by Doomsday in the comics, if I remember right.
Right, and I think the point is that Batman is the one to start the Justice League, and then Superman comes in later. So, yeah.
Again, disclaimer.
You couldn't just
we don't know everything about everything in a comic. If we're saying something wrong, just understand that we're just giving our best shot here.
I prefaced it with, it's my understanding that. So...
You understand wrong, goddammit! But no, so Carlos's assessment, what did he give it, a 5.5? He was pretty generous. Spot on. It was... it wasn't bad. It wasn't terrible. I didn't watch and go...
Yeah.
I didn't watch it and go, oh, this is a pile of shit. But I literally said to my wife at the end of it, I said, that was a pretty forgettable movie. She goes, I honestly already forgot half of what happened in that movie.
You know, Apocalypse was pretty bad, but my least favorite part was Lex Luthor.
Apocalypse? Isn't that X-Men?
Oh.
Isn't that X-Men Apocalypse?
No, who's the guy's... Who's the...
Yeah, his name's
the big
Doomsday.
Oh, Doomsday. But that's the same... It's literally a synonym. God damn it. How am I supposed to keep track?
Gary, you are wrong. Actually, it's Doomsday.
It literally means the same thing. It was the 11th hour, dude.
It still reminded me again, though, how much I like Wonder Woman's theme song.
Oh, yeah.
So great. Fucking sweet.
No, but Lex Luthor.
Yeah. Jesse Eisenberg?
Okay, let me say again. It's my understanding that Lex Luthor is supposed to be this calm, collected, methodical, like, thinks things out and does things, like, maliciously guy. But Jesse Eisenberg was a fucking schizophrenic, lunatic,
He played
crazy...
him like the Joker. It was like he's playing the Joker.
Yeah, it was like a Joker, right. It was like a knockoff Joker.
Now, my question was, is that maybe I'm an idiot. It's very possible. Feel free to email us.
Sure.
I was like, is this the actual Lex Luthor or is this Lex Luthor's kid?
No, it's supposed to be him.
So that's what's so confusing. I'm like, it seems to me like, because I'm trying to do the math of like...
You're right. It seemed like his like son-in-law or something.
Yeah, and he's like, well, his name, Lexcor was named after my dad. I was like, was your dad Lex and you're Lex Jr.? Is that why you're such a weirdo?
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't even know.
I don't fucking know. But that's the whole point. Is make it make sense.
It didn't. It certainly didn't.
Oh, well. Well, at least I got to stare at Gal Gadot some more.
Spider-Man came out. Yeah, that's true. Spider-Man came out this weekend. I haven't seen it yet.
Well, then why are we talking about it?
Well, okay.
I haven't seen it. Have you seen it? No, but the trailers look good.
Well, I was just going to talk about how the critics are saying that it's great.
You shit, man. Go for it.
Exactly. But that's the thing, though, is when a new Marvel movie comes out, it's become like a regular thing that the critics are like, wow, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And like everyone is like, okay, that's what they say with every Marvel movie. And then you go and see it, and it's like the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know anybody who's seen it yet, so
it's. I know. Yeah. I'll come back to it after I've seen it. But I'm not saying that they're not enjoyable, but it does really seem like they're just churning out the same kind of formulaic stuff.
Well, and that's why we wanted to watch the Captain America movies, because I wanted to watch Winter Soldier so I could watch Civil War.
I think that those three are the most diverse. Like out of they actually
what
show
three?
Captain America's.
I didn't like the first one.
The first one wasn't great.
Yeah,
but the second and
started
third
to fall asleep, and I don't fall asleep at movies.
The second and third, I think, were the most interesting Marvel movies. Okay. I think they actually had interesting plot lines.
I'm looking to watch them. I was gonna watch them. I just didn't want to spend the money when we had other things to watch.
Yeah.
Speaking of things to watch, you realize we're a week away. We are a week away.
Winter is here.
Right now, you should when you record, when you post this, you should have the music in the background. I can't tell you how excited I am for the new season. It's also reminded me how much I fucking hate people.
Okay.
I'm going somewhere with this, I promise. I'm on the Game of Thrones subreddit. I follow that one, and I also follow the Song of Ice and Fire one. So I follow the book one and the movie one and the TV one. Why the fuck does everybody have to take every trailer for everything that comes out and try to hyperanalyze every single thing? Why can't we just watch the show and be happy and excited when things happen? Oh, I saw in the trailer 6 months ago that was his penis. I'm like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything?
You know who I blame? I blame IGN for doing those rewind trailer bullshit. I think that's the first time I saw it, where they literally, they're 15-minute videos where they dissect a 1-minute teaser trailer.
I just don't get it.
Like, right here, they do it like play-by-plays with sports, where they like circle it with a colored marker, and it's like
why? But why would you want to know? Why would you want to know everything that's going to happen before it happens?
And you know what's stupid that people do, especially with TV shows, because you like have to wait a week and you have all this time to speculate. But that's what they do. They speculate. They mull it over and go like, I think this is going to happen. And I was watching Fargo, which I hadn't seen the first and second season, which came out years ago. And I like to look at the discussion threads of past episodes on Reddit.
Yeah.
And especially the first season, I was going into a discussion thread after watching each episode, but I was binging it, so I was just seeing them back to back. And you'd see like people like, oh, I think he's gonna do this, and I think that's gonna happen. And then I'd watch the next episode. Couldn't have been farther from what actually happened. Yeah. And it's like, what's the point? Why? Like
well, no, see, I'm actually more okay with going, hey, this is the episode. Let's discuss it. Let's guess what's going to happen next. I'm okay with that. What I don't like is watching the trailer, and the trailers tend to show too much for most things anyway. So to take that and go, okay, in any case that you missed one detail in this trailer, let's point that out so that in hopes that it ruins a plot line for you in the future. Well, that sucks.
Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of saying, though, because people take it too far and they go like, they speculate and they really think they're going to be right. Yeah. And when they're wrong, they're like, oh, fuck. Now the writers are awful and I hate this show and I'm never going to watch it again.
If you're going to be like, oh, they're fucked up because they didn't do it the way that I wanted them to do it based off a theory I created by putting my finger in my butt.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense. Now, I will say there's one exception, that Alt-Shift-X guy, the guy that does the Game of Thrones breakdown videos.
Sure. Yeah.
That guy's pretty awesome. His videos make sense because he explains why he thinks the things that he thinks.
And it connects them to the books and everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just watched one last night, I think. Jeff and me, and were you part of the conversation? We're talking about how we think things are going to go with Cersei. And spoilers, if you didn't watch the last season, spoilers. So skip to the end of the episode, because I'm not going to say anything super spoilery because it's not in the books yet. We're literally basing it off the last episode last season.
Okay.
Cersei burned the sept down, right?
Yeah.
And then her son took a fucking nosedive off the top of the keep.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think Jaime's going to kill her.
Yeah.
And some people agree with that theory. Some people are like, no way, Tyrion's going to do it, or she's going to kill herself, blah, blah, blah. But he went on, the Alt-Shift-X guy made a video talking about the original prophecy that Cersei heard, and then he is one of the people that thinks that she's gonna die because of Jaime too.
In the prophecy, did they say? Was it a witch? Did the witch say
Maggie the Frog? Yeah,
Did she say anything about how she was going to die?
Yeah, she said that you're going to die at the hands of the Valonqar, Valonqar.
What does that
Valonqar. It's, I guess, an assassin or murderer. She says that it's her little brother basically is going to kill her. You could look up Valonqar.
He'd be the Queenslayer.
Well, that's the thing, and that's the key. So it was just really interesting because that's the kind of thing that I'm okay with talking about. Because you're like,
now that you say it, yeah, definitely. Now that you say it, there's a lot of parallels because she's losing the what's the green fire called?
Oh, hold on. Valonqar is High Valyrian for little brother.
Oh,
and so it's part of the prophecy is saying that you're going to be killed by your Valonqar, and so a lot of people
they're twins though.
But who's the older twin?
Tyrion is her little brother.
So is Jaime. Jaime was born minutes after her.
Minutes after.
So of course, whenever you read
that,
yeah, if I remember right.
Okay.
But of course, everybody assumed automatically that would be Tyrion, right? Yeah. And then that's if the prophecy comes true. And so this video the guy did broke down like maybe the prophecies are coming true because she's trying so hard to keep them from coming true that she's actually like self-fulfilling this prophecy.
Yeah. That's cool.
But those are the kind of videos that I enjoy. It's kind of like the R plus L equals J theory. Mm-hmm. That was years ago. So it's not like it's not okay to have an idea. Oh my God, what if Jon Snow is actually, not Ned's son? What if he's actually this? Those are fun. Mm-hmm. But it's like when you're seeing a video of something and you're going, well, this is actually this. And it's like, well, fucking pump the brakes. There's a difference between wanting to know everything that's going to happen in every episode and then having theories about something fun that's not been proven yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like I'm complaining and enjoying the same thing at the same time. I'll try to be a hypocrite. I'm just saying like, I don't need to see everything that's going to happen. Some people like to watch the trailers and go, this thing's going to happen because this happened in the trailer. Kind of like with movies nowadays, people will watch a movie trailer and they'll spoil the end of the movie based off what they see in the trailer. And it's like, well, if I go to the movie now, I'm like, if that happens, it's going to suck because I already knew.
Right.
And if it doesn't happen, I'm going to be wondering if it's going to happen the whole time, so it's taking me out of it.
You know what was great about people, I feel like people, especially on Reddit, are paying more attention to how things are marketed.
Yeah.
Because some are done really shittily. Like the Batman versus Superman trailer, the last one was heavily criticized for basically showing the whole
They showed Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I would have had no idea she was in the movie until they fucking showed her.
And Doomsday. Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing, like, I had no idea, like, if I watched the movie a couple nights ago.
Yeah.
If I didn't know she was Wonder Woman, I wouldn't have known she was Wonder Woman.
Right. And, but it's great to see that people recognize when marketing goes well because, for example, Baby Driver.
Yeah.
A lot, I noticed when I started watching the movie, I noticed that a lot of the scenes from the trailer are in the first few minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Like the first chase.
Yep.
And like, you're like, while you're watching it, you're like, whoa, that part is already happening in the movie. This is the first scene. and then like after that,
they're usually like little one-liner quips that don't have any real impact on the story.
Right.
Yeah.
And then after that, you're like, well, what's going to happen now?
Yeah.
I don't know. Everything that I've seen already happened.
Which, by the way, we saw last weekend. If you get a chance to go see Baby Driver, go see Baby Driver.
One of our favorites of the year.
It really is. People tend to. It's one of those movies that if you don't know the people, like James, who Kevin Spacey is, sure, mm-hmm. and Jamie Foxx is. Mm-hmm. But if you're the type of person that enjoys a unique movie, go see it. These kind of movies don't get enough love. Its opening weekend was like 20 million, which was big for it. But it's crazy to think that made 20 million and Transformers makes like 100 million. That's like this movie that's just a bunch of robots exploding and making noise. And this originally thought out unique movie.
Yeah.
People aren't going to go give a chance to because I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, we'll be talking about Game of Thrones a lot coming up. We'll have to choose how we want to do it if we want to, because obviously we'll be recording before the episodes air. So we might always talk about the previous episode.
Yeah, and we might do some bonus, like...
boner?
Yeah, some boner episodes.
I'll be rock hard all day Sunday, so I'm not too worried about it.
No, we might do some like bonus
midweek?
separate things where if you're not a Game of Thrones fan, you don't...
It's probably a good idea. Yeah.
But we encourage you to become a big Game of Thrones fan.
Yeah, if you're not, what's wrong with you?
It's the best, most popular show on television.
Yeah, I mean, what are you, a vegan?
It's not. Also, we got to remember, it's not TV.
It's HBO. Just jumped right over my vegan joke. I thought that was good.
Oh, sorry.
If you don't watch Game of Thrones, you must be a vegan. I don't know.
Thanks for listening to episode 15 of the Unreasonably Angry podcast. If you liked it, please make sure and rate and review us on either Facebook and or iTunes.
And you can also visit our page, LIBSYN, our Libsyn page. It's the website that we use for broadcasting our podcast. And you can actually comment individually on each episode using our Facebook account. If you have any ideas, questions, comments, concerns, want to tell us to just go fuck ourselves, please send us an email at unreasonablyangrypodcast@gmail.com.
And until next time, I'm Gary.
And I'm Eric. Stay angry, fuckers.